Yes.
Tomato.
Okay, so once it's 5, okay, we'll be starting in the next 4 minutes. So for those of us who are already on the call, let's have the file that we have open. The file we used in the last class, let's have it opened. Let's have it opened.
Good evening, sir. How's your day now?
Good evening. My day was fine. How was yours?
It was fine. It was fine.
That's cool. Well done. So let's
Thank
have
you.
the file we used in the last class. Let's have it opened.
Okay. That same file, right?
Yes.
Guys, I'll go my room. On our laptop, right?
Yes, please.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, I was unable to submit my assignment. I finished my assignment since yesterday. I was unable to submit it throughout.
How was the challenge?
The internet is and the when I tried submitting, it's not going. It's not going. It's writing something. I can't even remember, but it's not going through.
Later resolved it.
Come again. Is anyone having the same challenge?
No, it was later resolved. Later resolved.
No,
Oh,
Esther,
okay.
same here too.
Mine was not
Same here
resolved,
too.
though. Mine was not resolved, though.
I'm
Mine
unable
was not resolved.
to submit
They
my
gave
assignment.
they sent an information now in the group that for those that can't submit, that you can submit now. They even put a spot for link to it.
I tried it. I could not submit.
Ah,
Okay, no problem. Okay, any other challenge? Any other challenge? All right, no problem. So it's 5 minutes already.
yeah.
So please, everyone, let's confirm that we have the file opened.
Chidima, what's up?
Yeah, it's opened. We have
Others, let's confirm. Okay. All right, so everyone confirm that you can see my screen. Let's confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, no problem. So now we start this session. So once again, good evening, everyone. And how are we doing today? So in the last session, we started with Microsoft Excel, and we started with the basic functions that we have in Excel. All right, everyone, please remember to mute your mic. Remember, one of the golden rules of this training is for us to mute our mic at every point in time. And for communication, we prefer that you use the chat so that we reduce disturbance or distraction. So in the last class, we talked about how we can do our reporting in Excel. And we also itemize that there are 5 ways of doing reporting in Excel. So everyone, type in the chat, what are the 5 ways of reporting in Excel? Type in the chat, one after the other. You can just put, then you need to type all the 5 at once, one after the other. Type in the chat, what are the 5 ways of doing reporting in Excel? Thank you for tuning. Others, I want everyone to type in the chat today. Let's type in the chat to identify 5 ways of doing reporting in Excel, everyone. So tell me, what are the 5 ways of doing reports in Excel? Type in the chat, everyone. Type in the chat. Thank you for tuning. Let's type in the chat, everyone. Let's type. All right, it's interesting. I can see people dropping already. Formulas and function. I see, I can see pivot table and power pivot and DAX. That's fantastic. Okay. We have a lot of people in the chat. I'm just seeing 2 people. Only 2 people are typing. Others. Now. All right, so interesting. Yes, we say what? There are 5 ways of reporting in Excel. So the first one is by using a formula or a function in Excel. And we say, and we said that what? We said, who can tell us what is the difference between a formula and a function in Excel? You can tell us what is the difference between a formula and a function in Excel. Thank you. Yes, formula. Yes, so formula is user defined, while function is system defined. Thank you. Now we say the other way is by using pivot table in Excel, and the third way is by using what? Okay, and I told us pivot table has a limitation. Who can remind us what is the limitation of pivot table? What is the limitation of pivot table? You can tell us what is the limitation of pivot table. Thank you very much. It can only be used on a single table at a time. So when you have multiple tables, then you're definitely going to be having an issue with pivot table, because pivot table cannot work on multiple tables at the same time. Thank you very much, Fortune. Okay, so now this limitation of pivot table now is what led to the third way of doing reporting in Excel. Is what led to the third way of reporting in Excel, which is now what? Combination of pivot table, power pivot, and DAX. Pivot table, power pivot, and DAX. Right? And we also say what? The fourth way, we have the fourth way, which is using cube functions. And lastly, we use the dynamic arrays. The dynamic or the array functions in Excel. So now everyone, we also, and in the last class, we looked at the what? The different what? What do we look at? We look at the basic functions in Excel. The sum function, the count function, the minimum, maximum, and also the average functions. These 5 functions are the basic functions that we have in Excel. And generally for your calculations, these are the functions that form the basics for all calculations that you'll be working on. So we give us an assignment. So now everyone, we can unmute our mic at this point. Let's confirm how many of us have submitted our assignment. Let's confirm how many people have submitted the assignment. How many people have submitted the assignments? Okay, how many people have been able to submit the assignment? And also please note that assignment submission, class attendance, they all form what? But they all form the basis of you getting your certification at the end of this training. So how many people have been able? I can see 2 people. And I think who was that? Was he online Kawu? Somebody complained that, was it Omalara? Please somebody complained earlier that he or she was, oh, Michael, was that you?
I am the one.
Okay, so Michael complained that he was not able to submit his assignment. So for others who are yet to submit the assignment, so you will have the opportunity, the timeline for submission of assignment is going to be extended till Thursday this week. Thursday is the deadline for submission of all assignments. So any assignment that did not come in by Thursday, we assume that what you did not do the assignment. So if you are here to turn in your assignment, you still have the liberty to do so between now and Thursday. So so that is it. Now, so this is the assignment. So we'll look at this later. Now let's quickly jump into what today's business. We have a lot of things that we want to cover. All right. Now, just like what we did in the last class, let's quickly do a refresher, right? So the last class, we look at how do we calculate the total expenses incurred by IRC conglomerate. And you say to calculate total expenses, what do? We use the sum function. We use the sum function, right? So you are going to sum Okay. So we come to where we have the what? The space where you're expected to enter your data. So say equals to sum, right? Then we say what? We want to look at the sum of the total expenses. Click on the first one and you highlight downward. Right? And I said that what, there's no need for you to go back up before you close the bracket. Since you've highlighted everything you're looking at, you can just what? Close the bracket and hit enter. Right? Then you see your submission. Right? That was what we did in the last class. But now, for everyone, let's go to the next sheet. Let's go to the next sheet. Everyone, let's go to the next sheet where we have the what it's called the master function. In the next sheet, we also have the same data. We have the same data, but then this time around, we have different sets of questions. Now, in this case, you are now asked, the first question is saying, what is the total expenses incurred in the West? The question here now is asking us to find out the total expenses that was incurred in the Western region. Now, one thing about analysis is using a tool, but the most important tool that you need when you are working with data is critical thinking. It's for you to be able to think critically and think through how you're going to solve a problem. Now, I would like somebody to unmute his or her mic for me now and tell me, how do you think we are going to solve this problem? Now, the question, if at this moment we were asked to find what the total expenses, we already know that our total expense is going to be sum of what the expense column, right? We just go to the expense column and add all the numbers, right? But in this case, the reverse is the case. The case is different actually. And the case is that what we are asked that the total expenses now, we are not narrowing it down to a particular location. So who can tell me, how do you think we are going to solve this challenge? How do you think we are going to solve this challenge? Okay.
The function.
Come again.
The count if function.
The count if function. Interesting. Thank you, Michael. Any other person?
I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm right.
No, don't worry. That's nice. Now, what I'm even after is, I'm not even after the kind of function you're going to use. I want you to explain to me how you think we can achieve this goal. Okay, let's forget about the function you're going to use, everyone. Just explain to me, that's the critical thinking behind the work. How do you think we are going to achieve our aim? Break it down to me. Break it down.
I think we'll use equals to count if.
Leave the function. You are talking about function now.
Yeah, you now highlight.
Hi, Michael. Hello, Michael. Hi, Michael. Can you hear me?
Sir.
Can you hear me, Michael?
Let me say mine.
So now, I can hear you. Okay. So I'm not interested in the function that we're going to use now. I want you to just explain to me how you think we can achieve.
I want to explain how we are going to.
Okay, you are explaining the function. I don't need the function. Don't worry.
Yes, I'm explaining how we are going to get our answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I said we are going to use equals to count if.
You're still explaining the
function. You're not going to use function.
Okay, let him learn. Okay,
we'll click on. Okay, so we are going to click on all the numbers, the expense amount, all of them.
Okay.
And we are going to click on West because it's West we are looking for. And we will hit enter.
Okay. All right, interesting. Thank you, Michael.
I think maybe are you hearing me? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello? Oh, there's
Hello,
network
I can hear
problem. Can
you.
you,
Go ahead.
can
Loud and clear.
okay. Like I feel like all this expense amount, right? We'll add it all together, then we'll divide it by the west own alone to get the total expense. That's what I feel like.
Okay, thank you very much, Fortune. Any other person? Any other person?
Sorry, sir.
We are the
Can I
we
say
are the female
something now?
folks. Okay, Michael, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think this is dealing with frequency. Like you are dealing with the frequency of with West. We are dealing with what West entails. So I feel the best function to use is count if all the expenses and West, then you get the
Interesting.
actual West number.
Yes, interesting. That's well noted. All right, thank you for that. Okay, Omolara, let me call. I want to hear people's voice today. Omolara. Omolara, let's hear your contribution. And basically, this is what we face day in, day out as an analyst. How you think through a solution. When the problem comes, and now have to, before you start doing anything, before you use any tool or anything, you first of all have to build the solution in your own head. You have to build on your end. So, Omolara, Mary, let's hear from you. The ladies, let's hear your voice. I can see Bukola is here as well. Hi, Bukola. I will not move on until I hear someone's voice. Mary, Bisola, Bukola,
Good
Omolara.
evening, Pastor Lee.
Finally, thank you. Good evening. Go ahead. No, don't just greet me. No, don't just greet me. I'll mute your mic. Just tell me what you think and how you think we're going to arrive at this situation. Forget about function. How do you
I'm
think?
just joining the meeting. Sorry.
Oh, you're just joining? Okay. Okay, no problem. All right. I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, I think people are just going in and out. Mary, hi Mary. Okay,
Hello.
don't worry. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
for me, I'll just use equals to summation. Since we are dealing with just West, I'll use
Mm-hmm.
comma, 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 comma. That's just what I will do. Everything in West, I'll use comma,
Everything in
then
West.
close
All
the
right.
bracket. Yes,
Okay.
enter.
Now, thank you very much, Bisola. But I'm not interested in your function. Tell me the rationale behind what you want to do. Explain what in total what you
Yes,
want to
I
do.
want
Yes.
the total of everything in West, excluding South, North, and others.
Thank
Okay.
you very much. That's
I'm
what I want to
dealing
hear.
with just West.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now,
Oh, there's more than one west. I thought it was just one west.
we
Yes.
have a lot of
It's
West.
all,
There are more
yeah,
than one
sorry
West.
to
Now,
use it. I just went there. I was
okay.
not seeing it. So just one.
Now,
It's all
yes,
the
exactly.
essence in the west that you like add together to get the
Mhm.
total essence incurred in the west. That's what you do.
Yes. Yes. Now, exactly. Thank you very much, everyone, for your contribution. So, as an analyst, this is one skill that you must have. Aside you using Excel, Power BI, SQL, Python, Tableau, regardless of any tool that you use, the most important tool that you need to have in your bag is critical thinking. How you can think critically when you have a challenge. You break it down in your head already. Then you can now start what? Mending it one after the other. That's when your knowledge of function can then come in. But if you are not able to break down the problem in your head and solve it, you will not be able to even look at, okay, which tool will solve the problem for me. So now here, what we did earlier on was we get the total expenses. But in this case, there's a caveat to it. We want the total expenses, but it must be from the West, which simply means when you look at this our data, right? We have expense across different divisions, right? Now, we then want to say, okay, I want my function, the function I'm going to use, it must be able to what? Look row by row. First of all, it will need to add all the expense. However, you should go row by row and check, are you West? If it is yes, it will pick the number. That's okay, it picks the number. If it is no, it leaves the number, it does not pick it, ignore it. You can't say again, is this West? Yes. If it is yes, it picks the expense amount. Since this is not West, this is not, it just leaves this expense. It goes to the next one, this is South, this is not, since it's not West, it leaves it alone. And once it encounter West, just okay, this is West, it picks this West, and goes again. When you see another West, pick the second West, pick the third West, all till it gets all the numbers for all Western region. Then those are the only numbers it is going to add together. So which means in a nutshell, we want to add all the number. But
Yes.
if the number, it is only, we are going to add the number only if the number is coming from the Western region. So now let me ask you, if we are going to add numbers together, what function are we going to use?
This in the sum function.
Thank you. So to
Sum
add
function.
the number, we are going to use the sum function to add numbers together. However,
Yeah.
there's a condition now. The condition is saying what? You should only add the number, that is, you should only sum the number if the what? If the region or if the division is in the West. So therefore, we are going to combine now we have two functions. The first function is sum, to add the number. The second function is what? Our what do we call it now? Our condition, which is if, to say what? To say if you should only add it if it is coming from the Western
West.
division. So we are then going to say sum if. That's the function to use. We're going to
Okay.
sum. The same thing. If we want to do is to what? We want to find the average. Okay, let's say we want to count, we want to find how many times, like somebody said earlier on, frequency. How many times did we make transaction in this place? Well, what do we want to do? To find how many times. That means we are counting. But because there is a condition to it, so the condition, we will only use the if condition, if statement to get the condition, then we do what? Count if. So we that's why we have what? We have the sum if, we have the count if, all the basic function that we have the average if, we have the what again? The mean if, the max
the max.
if. Thank you. So all of them, they can stand alone, and they can also stand when we have the condition attached to it. So that's when we now add what? If to all of them, which is sum if, count if, average if, mean if, max if, and others. Right? So, but in this case, the goal is what? Is for us to use the sum if. Now, are we all together now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's proceed. Now, when we go into where we want the answer to be, let's say equals to sum. Everyone, you must practice along with me. Equals to sum. Now, when you check, you see that we have sum function.
Yes.
We have another function which is what? The sum if.
Yes.
They under the sum if again, we have the sum ifs. Now,
Yes.
who can tell me what's the difference between the sum if and the second one? Tell us what you think is the difference between this first sum if and the second sum if. What
The
do you
one
think?
is singular.
Thank you. The first one is called sum if. The second one is called sum ifs. So the first
Yes.
one is similar, that is when you have only one condition. When your
Yes.
condition is just one, that is you are looking for West alone. That's when you use the what? Sum if. But when you are looking for West and you're also looking for what? For You're
South.
looking for the expenses, no, not even south. When you're looking for the expenses incurred in the western region on advertising, on advertisement, now that's two conditions. The first one is what? The region must be in the west, and the second condition is saying what? It must also be, the category has to be advert, right? So that's why you use what? The sum ifs. That's a multiple condition. Now, another thing is that the sum if will only work when you have a single condition, but some ifs will work when you have multiple conditions, and it can only work for a single condition. So some ifs can do the work of singular and plural, while some if can only do the work of singular. Now, we are going to test both of them and you'll see how they work. So everyone, I need you to follow me as I'm moving. So we go to sum if, the first one, the sum if. Are we here?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you are doing your sum if, remember I told us in the last class, when you are working in Excel, you do not need to cram anything. All you need is what? You must understand the criteria or the arguments. So for every function, they require one or more arguments to work. What do we mean by argument? Argument simply means what? The input that you need to give to that function for it to work optimally. Now, when we look at the sum function in the last class, we said what? The argument and what we have in this bracket is asking for numbers. See, number 1, comma, the second number, the third number, the fourth number, and so on, all the numbers, right? But when you are now working with sum if, the argument is different. Who can tell me how many arguments do we have under sum if?
We have 3.
Thank you very much, Fortune. Now, what are the arguments?
We have range, criteria,
and
sum range.
And sum rate. Thank you very much. Now, this is just what you need to understand. The first argument, and you can see that for each argument, they are separated by a comma. Each argument is separated by a comma, right? Now, the first thing is range. Range here also means criteria range. You might want to document this, you might want to write this down. Range here also means what? Criteria range. So range is asking you, which column can you find the criteria? Which column contains the condition that we are looking for? In your data, which column contains the condition that we are looking for? Now, that's the criteria range. Now, let me ask us, everyone, which column now in this data, which column contains the condition that we are looking for? You can tell me which column?
Column D.
Column D.
Yeah.
Column
D.
B.
D for dog.
Column
D.
Column B.
D.
Amount.
Okay.
Column B.
Column B. What
Yeah.
again? Column D from Bisola. Anyone? Any other person?
Expense amount. That's column D.
Column D. Interesting. Any other person? Now, everyone, one thing you need is, whenever you are referring to this, please let's stop using column A, B, C. There's a name for each of the column. So call the name of the column. That's what I'm interested in. So somebody said, so is it division, category, or expense amount? Let's say please.
Expense.
Our range. Thank you. Our range, again, let me give you the definition of range. Range simply means which column contains the condition that you are looking for. That's the first, that's range. Then second argument means criteria. Criteria also means what? What is the condition? So now answer me. What is the condition now? Can someone tell me what is the condition in the statement?
West. West is the condition.
West.
Let me hear from others. Like I say, west is the condition. Others.
West.
West is the
Yes, west
condition.
is the
Thank you very much, everyone. Now, if we are saying west is the condition, then the range again, range simply means which column contains the condition. In which column can you find the condition? So now tell me, everyone.
more.
Mhm. Again, critical thinking. Range
Column
also means, hold on,
7.
range, column 7, hold on. Range also means criteria range. What does that mean? It simply means the complete column. In which column can you find the condition that you are looking for?
Expense amount.
Criteria simply means the exact condition that you are not looking for in that range. Right? And lastly is the summary. So now let me break it down for us, everyone. When I say column in Excel, right? The vertical orientation in Excel is the column. What do I mean? Like this is a column from top to, when you're moving from top to bottom, that's a column. So which means when we have column A, B, C, D, E, F, right? And when we are not referring to our data in terms of column, and when it is our data, we have a column for division, that's a vertical, that's one. Another column that we have is a category, then the other column that we have is the expense amount. But when I say row, that's the column, right? Row means the horizontal, what? Horizontal orientation of your data. Anything that can be found on the horizontal axis. Now, when I say row 4 simply means what? Everything that I just highlight now. If I say row 7, you come here, this is row 7. So now when we are talking about what? Where we have gone is the what? The range. Range means which column. Now look at the question again. Question is saying what? It's saying what is the total expenses incurred in the West? So the condition here is the West, right? We all agree that. But where in our data, in which column can you find West? Definitely, you can only find West division under your division. Thank you very much. So your range is going to be the division. I want to get that now. So you're going to highlight everything you have under the division. And mind you, you should not highlight from the columns B at the top. No. What you should do is to start from the first data that you have in that column. Directly under the division column, then you highlight it downward. Who can remind me what is the shortcut for highlighting?
Control Shift, then page down.
Thank you very much. Not page down, arrow down. Control, Shift, and your down arrow key. Yes, at once, that will help you to what? It will help you to highlight the whole column. Everyone, let's do that. That's our range. That is our range. Now, after you've imputed the range, right? The next thing is what? Is to put a comma. So I can then go to the next argument. Is to put a comma. Now, who can tell me now what is the next argument? After range, what's the next after range? Criteria. Right? Thank you. Now, so again, answer this question. What's our criteria? What is our criteria?
Is it not total expenses?
No. Criteria, total expenses cannot be criteria. The criteria is what? What's the condition? We are asked to find the total expenses coming from the Western Division. So what, in that statement, now what is the criteria?
Still the Western Division.
Thank you. It is the Western Division. Yes, it is the Western Division. Again, ranges, we are looking at the whole of the column for the division. Then second, we are saying, okay, go into that column and look for West for me. That's what we are doing. So, everyone, You can actually come in here and click on any waste, but I will not advise that you do this. So what we advise you do is what? Okay. So everyone, what we're going to do now is what? You open the double quotes. Open double quotes. That is, you do this. This is double quotes. You open the quotes. Okay. Everyone. Then you type West inside it. WEST. WEST. It is not case sensitive. Then you close the quotes. Everyone. Let's do that. Then you can then put your comma. What have we said? We have said what? Range. That is, go into this range. Where is the range? The range is in the what? Division. Go into division and look for anything that looks like this. This is west. Go in there and look for west. Now, the last thing is asking sum range. When you find west, what should you do? Sum range was, it means what? Which range, which column do you want to sum? That's what it means. Sum range means which column do you want to sum? So everyone tell me, which column are we summing?
The expense amount.
Thank you. So we now come to the expense amount, the first one. Click on it. Then you can now do what? Highlight everything by using Control Shift down arrow key. Control Shift down arrow key. So we have supplied the third argument. Again, first, the range. Go to this range, that is this column. Secondly, criteria west, that is, go to the column and look for west. When you get west, what do you want me to do? Sum this range, that is, always look for west. So to be looking for west, and it picks the number that belongs to west and add it together for us. So you can tell me what's the last thing you go to? What's the last thing? After supplying the sum range, check your, what do we need to do? We need to close the bracket. Check. After the summary, there's a close bracket there. So we need to close our brackets and hit enter. So I will now hit enter. Everyone hit enter and tell me what you type what your final your answer is in the chat. Type your answer in the chat. So with that, I will know whether I get this right or not.
Oh my God.
Okay, I can see you drop in the chat. Drop in the chat. Hi, Badibo. Were you in the last class? Come meet your mic. Were you in the last class? Everyone, drop your answer in the chat. Drop your answer in the chat.
Yes, I was in the last class.
So this was the same file. Good evening. This was the same file that we used in the last class. So, do you have that file?
Yes, I have the. Okay, you just change the question, right?
No. We move on to where the other sheet. Just open the file and go to the second sheet there.
Okay,
open the file.
All right.
Yes. All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so welcome. Others, let's do this. Drop in the chat what your final answer is. Can see Michael has dropped his own. Others should drop theirs. Let's see. Drop in the chat what your final answer is. Let's drop in the chat. Let's drop it in the chat, everyone. Again, the range, the criteria, and also the sum rate. Drop your answer in the chat. Hello, people. Any challenge? So let me also hit enter so I get the final answer. Okay. All right. Now let's take this again. Let's take this again. So this is another opportunity for others who have actually missed this.
So,
Okay,
sorry,
Michael, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead with your question.
So the question is, data will not always come in the way you want it.
Come again.
Like the way you present this data.
Okay. Think your network. Michael, I'm struggling to hear you. Is it my network or Michael's network? Hello, I can hear you faintly. Okay, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Michael.
Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you
Okay,
hear
I can
me?
hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So I'm saying is data will not always come the way you present them. I'm studying
Okay.
risk management and insurance in Unilag, and I'm doing something like this, something related. And we are going to do it in exam. So the way they present
Okay.
data is different from the way they are presenting this data. So how will I know
Okay.
for sure the range and the criteria?
Okay, yes. Thank you very much for that. And the question is, how will you know the range and the criteria, right? And you also said that what
Yes,
most data are not
if they put the data in another form.
in another form. Okay. Now,
Yes.
when we talk about data, we have the structured data, and also have the unstructured data. So what you're apparently seeing here is the well-structured data, right? It's just cannot be well structured. So in such case, we have to first of all structure the data. So when I say the data is not well structured, it simply means was such data is not clean. When you're working with dirty data. Now, when your data is dirty, you have to put it. When your data is dirty, it simply means you're working with an unstructured data. How then do? You need to what? You have to clean the data. You have to put it in a structured format. So it is when you have put it in a structured format, that is when you'll be able to bring out insights from this data. Now, what we have currently here is a structured data, which is a clean data. So as we proceed in the class, we'll start seeing what it takes to see what it looks like to have a dirty data. And when we don't have a dirty data, we also talked about how can we clean a dirty data. You get it now? So it's one step at a time. So again, to your second question now is, we're talking about how do I know the range and how do I know the condition, right? So it is simple. All you need to do is you must first of all understand the problem. You must first of all understand the problem. Now the problem or the question here is to say, what is the total expenses incurred in the West? That is, we are looking at the total expenses. However, we are only considering the Western division, right? We are looking for the total expenses, but we are only considering the Western division. So in my head already, I'm finding total expenses. I know I need to sum it. However, there's a condition attached to it. I must only sum the value, the expense amount coming from the Western division. right? So that's why I know that what I will use my sum if. So only sum cannot do that, because sum is going to give me the total expenses. However, I want the total expenses coming from a particular region. So I'm now going to use my what, because there's a condition attached to it. So I'm going to be using my sum if. Sum if. Right? So there and then, and then say what equals to sum if. So let's do it again. Let me take us through again. Sum if, everyone, for those who did not get it at first. Sum if, and again, if you read what sum if does, it says what there's a caveat. It says it's add all cells specified by a given condition or criteria. Yes, because we have a condition here that it must meet before you sum it. It's not just going to sum all these numbers blindly, but what it goes through a condition. The condition is that what the data, the number, the expense must come from the west. So we use sum if. Let's go sum if. Right? So now when I call on my sum if, I need 3 arguments to be able to execute the sum if. The first argument is called what? The range. The range. Range, and I said range simply means the column that contains, so here, first thing you need is total expenses. Where do you get your total expenses? The second thing you need is what? Is the argument, which is the west. These are the 2 keywords here. Total expenses and west. That is expenses and west. Right? Now, the first argument is range. Range is saying that your condition, which is the west now. Let me, why is going on? Okay. 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 Plug my system. Okay. It's saying that what? Range simply means which column. And we're talking about a column now. Which column contains my condition? Again, what is my condition? My condition is west. So where can I find my west? So basically, I can only find west on the division column, this column. Again, range is saying where can you find the specified condition? And here, the specified condition is west. The specified condition is west, right? So which column contains west? We all know that what west is coming, west comes from the division column. That's where we can see the different what west that we have. So what we do is what is to highlight the west from the beginning to the end using Control, Shift, and your down arrow key. Control, Shift, and your down arrow key. That's the first thing. Then I'll bring it up. Look at my words. I've specified the range. After range, what is the next thing? It is next thing is comma. After range, the next thing is comma. Everyone. Then the second thing is criteria. What is my criteria? That is what is my condition. Now here already we can see that what the criteria or the condition is west. So we need to supply west. Now I said well, there are 2 ways of doing west, right? It's either you come here and click on any west that you can see, but this is not the best way of doing it, because anything, if I can come here and rearrange this data, is going to change everything. So the best thing is to do your west yourself and say, okay, west is, open a quote and type out your west. Open a quote, they say W-E-S-T, west. And this is not case sensitive. It can be capital letter all through, west, or it can be small letter all through, right? Then you close, after typing the condition, you can then close the brackets, the quotes, not brackets. That's the criteria now. That's the criteria, right? Now, after the west now, the next thing is comma. I'll put a comma. I'll put a comma. And lastly is the sum range. Sum range means what? Which column? Anyway, you see range means what? A whole lot of things. The complete column. He's saying which column do I want to sum? That's what he's saying. That is, which column contains the number that I want to sum. So I only want to sum the what? The expense amount. I only want to sum what? The expense amount. So I'm going to highlight what? The whole expense column without leaving anything undone. I don't need to pick the expense one after the other and say, okay, this is West, good at another West. No, pick everything at once. So I'll click on the first expense, Control Shift down. Then what do? I'll close my brackets and hit enter. Then that should what? That should give me the total expenses incurred in the Western region. Everyone, let's confirm that we've done this. Everyone, confirm that you've done this. Type done in the chat if you're done.
I still can't find this particular question.
You can't find
Enter
this
the
question.
master function.
Yes.
Look
Okay,
below.
go to the sheet that contains master function. You have that sheet.
Okay.
The first sheet you have is the basic. The second one is the
Yes.
master function. Yes, go to master
Yes.
function. That's where
Okay,
we
I
are.
found it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other person? So now, please type
Can
done
I
in the chat. Please go ahead with your question.
Sorry, please.
Go ahead.
I'm confused now. What's the difference?
Okay, this your network is something. Come again. What's your question? Hi, Michael.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, do you get the question?
No, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear it at all. What was the question?
I said the question is, what's the difference between sum if and count if?
Yes. Sum if, like the name implies, sum means what? You are adding numbers. But count if is going to count cell by cell. It's only going to count how many cells we have here that are coming from the east, from the west. It's going to count. You see now this one now. For sum if you just see 3,070 plus this, plus this, plus this, right? But for count, if just this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It counts. Just count the number of times something appears. You get it now? Okay, so to test everyone's understanding, now forget the question that you have in that chat, in the worksheet. I want you to find the total expenses incurred in the notes. Type the answer in the chat.
I cannot type on the worksheet.
You cannot do what?
I cannot type, like I cannot work on the sheet.
What is the challenge? You are typing and it's not typing, right?
Yes.
Okay, go a bit to the top of your screen. Can you see a yellow line?
Okay.
Something like yellow. You see enable editing. Do you have it?
Yes, there is there.
Click on enable editing. So that's why you need. So just click on enable editing. Now you
Okay.
type. Yes. So everyone now, find the total expenses incurred in the notes. Everyone, find the total expenses incurred in the notes and type your answer in the chat.
Okay.
Type your answer in the chat and copy your formula as well in the chat. Two things, your answer and your formula. Copy it and paste it in the chat.
John, please confirm if I'm correct.
No worry, there's nothing to confirm. We're all going to see it. Everyone, do yours as well. I can see your numbers in the chat. Others, let's confirm. Do it and type in the chat. Yeah. Okay, type in the chat, copy your formula as well, put your formula in the chat as well. And see your numbers, but I want to see your formula as well. Find the total expenses incurred in the notes. Total expenses incurred in the notes. Okay. Next one, because of time, let's proceed. So let me also do mine and see to confirm if you are right. Total expenses incurred in the notes equals to sum if, right? Sum if, I've just my own here. The first thing is the range. What range? My range is, what's your range, everyone? What's our range? What is our range?
The division.
Division, thank you.
Division.
Thank you. That's where you can find the not can be found under division. So I go to division. We're writing everything downward. Then what's the next now after highlighting everything downward? What's the next thing? After highlighting it downward.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm not seeing this.
he's having network issue or his data is exhausted.
Is it
I know maybe he
the
was complaining about low battery. Maybe the battery died. Or maybe he's having um internet loss. Or maybe his data don't finish.
okay. Oh,
Yeah, but let's just give him time. He'll be back.
no problem, no problem, no problem. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I go come. Is it okay? He's not back.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, apologies. I think my system stopped charging.
No problem. What happened? Your data got exhausted, right?
It's like the system, it was not just charging, so my system went off.
Yeah, and I thought of it. So that's what I told them, that maybe your system went off because it showed battery low.
Yeah, and it's plugged actually. Don't know why it's not charging. All right, so I'm back now.
So sir, you stopped in this thing
Yeah,
after you
okay.
after you have
Yes,
highlighted
yes.
what did you do to take it up.
Okay. So I was asking, what's the next thing I'll do? The next thing to put a comma, right? Is to put a comma. Then the next one is what? The criteria. What's our criteria? Our criteria is that what? We are looking at the northern region, right? So we open the quotes and type north. And remember, I said it is not case sensitive. It is not case sensitive, right? It can be in capital letter, small letter, anywhere you want it to be. Then close the quotes. So what this simply means is that I'm saying go to B4 to B61, that is, what is B4? That's the division. Go to your division and from beginning to the end and look for knots. And the next one is comma. So she's now saying anywhere you see knot, what do you want me to do? I want you to sum the expense. So the sum range. So the sum range now is the expense. Control shift now to add everything, to highlight all the numbers. So here I've just said what? Go to the division from beginning to the end, start looking for knots. So it is now going to be row by row. It's go to the first row, ask, is this not? No, it's go to the next one. Is this not? Yes, then it picks this number. Is this not? No, please keep the number. West, and so on. So you start picking, that's how you start picking the number one part. So you start filtering out the numbers until you collect all the numbers for the lots. Then you close the bracket and you hit enter. So let's see my answer. My answer is 241,540. Is that the same thing that you people have? Let me see. Oh, I lost all the chat. What was the answer? Did you get the same answer? Please confirm if your answer is the same thing as mine. Hello, please confirm if your answer is the same as mine. Can you hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so please confirm if your answer is the same thing as mine. I can no longer see the previous chat because I've left it.
Yes, sir. The answer is the same, sir.
Okay, nice one. So everyone now, let's go and answer the second question. The second question says, how much was spent on software? So everyone, answer that question. Type the answer in the chat and the formula. Type in the chat. How much was spent on software? Actually? How much was spent on software? How much was spent on software? Do that and drop the answer in the chats. Okay, let's confirm. Read, type the answer in the chat. Okay, like this answer there. Drop the formula as well. How much was spent on software? How much did we spend on software? I'm doubting, Mike, I'm doubting this answer actually. Okay, like that's one. How much was spent on software? Omonara, interesting. How much was spent on software? How much was spent on software? Others, Mary, I'm expecting your feedback as well. Type in chat. Thank you. Mary, Michael, Bisola, and nothing else.
minus 680.
Valuable. And expense on the feedback. Okay, now let me see. Let's confirm if your answer is correct. So let's come back to my screen, everyone. Again, how much was spent? It simply means what? What is the total amount of expenses that was incurred on what that was spent on software, right? So buying software. So now we say what? So if, right? Now who can tell me what is our range? What is our range?
Advertising.
Adva-
Sorry, I
ad-
said advertising. Sorry,
What's my
sorry.
range?
It's
Category.
category.
Sorry.
It's
Thank
category.
you.
Category.
So you pick the category,
It's category.
country shift down,
Category.
right? What is the next thing?
Yeah.
After picking the category, what's the next thing?
That's criteria.
No, before criteria, there's something I need to do, which is very important.
Okay, that's the software.
Comma,
Software.
no,
The
comma,
Comma.
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 At every point in time, you must not forget that comma. Comma. Now, to my criteria, now my criteria is software. So I can then open a quote and say SOFT.
I want to ask a question. I want to ask
Okay,
a
go ahead.
question, sir.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Let me
what?
finish this. Let me finish this. Software, then
Okay.
comma, then your summary is the expense amount. So you sum the expense, then you close the bracket and enter. So you have your answer. So go ahead with the question.
Okay, sir, this thing, when you highlight the range, how do you go back to the top? Because mine before I go back, I have to press minus. Then I don't have to like delete the other value
Okay,
that I've added.
Mistake.
okay. Me, I'm using mouse. I can use mouse to scroll up and down using mouse.
Okay, no wonder.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
okay,
using
okay.
mouse. But for you,
Okay.
what you can do is if you want to go up, which is not a must, you can come to the end of this scroll. I use this scroller to scroll up and down. For
Okay,
example,
the
now
scroll.
let's say
Okay.
we are down here.
Oh,
So you can come to
oh,
this screen. I use to scroll
okay,
up.
okay.
So it works.
Okay,
Now,
sir. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Now, before we go to the next one, everyone, you need to answer this question. How much was spent on rent? I want to know how much we spent on rent, everyone. How much was spent on rent? Let's confirm that we have that. How much was spent on rent? And the final answer in chat and your formula. So, and formula, put it in chat. How much was spent on rent? How much was spent on rent? How much was spent on rent?
I,
Up in the charts. How much was spent on fortune? All right, interesting. So let's confirm the answer. Let's confirm the answer. All right, so I also do this here because the question is not stated in my listen. What am I doing? Because it's sum if, right? Now, sum if the range. My range is my what? My category. Then, comma, right? Then what's the next thing? The next thing is my criteria. Open the quote. My criteria is rates. Close the quotes. Then, comma. The last thing is the sum range. What was my sum range? My sum range is this expense amounts. When I close the bracket, you can then hit enter. So let's see 71,160. So well done, well done, well done, everyone. Now let's now move on to the next question. The next question says, how much was spent in the East on technical support? How much was spent in the East on technical support? Can somebody try this out? Let's try this. How much was spent in the East on technical support? But let me ask you a question. How many conditions do we have here?
2 conditions.
Come again.
2 conditions. 2 conditions.
Thank you. Now, what are the 2 conditions?
This we have what are they calling it?
What are the conditions?
Division and category.
Division and these are not the conditions. Who else can try? What are the conditions? Who can tell us what are the conditions?
Hello?
Hello, Amati.
I think we have 3 conditions. I think we have 3
What are
conditions.
they? 3
We
conditions.
have 3
Okay, go ahead.
conditions.
What are the conditions?
We have the division and expense amount.
Come again. You have
Division,
the what?
category, and expense amount.
Division
The
is not even
division,
the-
category, and expense amount.
Okay,
Hmm?
interesting.
Because the East is in the division,
Mhm.
the technical support is in the category, and they are asking for how much was spent on it. So it's the
Thank
3
you. So you got
conditions
it, but you
that-
missed. Yes. So it is 2 conditions. The conditions are East and technical support. Those are the 2 conditions. The conditions are East, and the second one is the technical support. Yes, what you were mentioning earlier is just the column, the complete column itself. But the condition itself is what is that means you have to go to the division and look for East. Also, you go to the category and you look for technical support. Right? Now, who can I tell us what function are we going to use here?
We
What
use some
function?
if.
Use a sum
Some if.
ifs.
Some
Use sum ifs, the plural form. You have to use the plural form, everyone. So let's go. Now, in the sum ifs now, remember I said you should not try to memorize or cram or memorize anything. You just need to understand the argument. What is the first argument under sum ifs?
2 conditions.
What is the first argument under our sum ifs? The first argument.
Some range.
Thank
Let me
you.
see.
Sum range, right? Sum range. So what is my sum range now? What does sum range mean? What is my sum range? Or what does sum range means? We have done this before now, so again, that's why I say do not memorize anything. Just
Division
look at
and the
myself.
category.
No, that cannot be my sum range. Look at the name. Sum range.
Expense
What does it
amount.
mean? Yes, sum range, because sum range simply means what column do you want to sum? what column do you want to sum? Or like some if. So in some if, some range come last, but in some ifs it comes first. Why?
Also,
Because in some ifs you can have multiple conditions. In fact, you can have as much as 255 different conditions. So, because we do not know how many conditions you are going to have, we don't know when you are going to stop. So that's why they bring some range first. Then you cannot start specifying all your conditions. Whenever you stop, you close bracket and you go. You get now. So sum range simply means which column do you want to sum? So everyone, which column are we going to sum?
Expense
Which column?
Expense
Thank you. The
expense amount.
expense amount. So go to the expense
Expense amount.
amount, you highlight everything. You go to the expense amount, you highlight everything. Using the control shift arrow key. Then comma. Now tell me, what is the next argument? The next argument is criteria range 1. Criteria range 1. If you remember, under the sum if, what we have is just range and we have criteria. But here, because they are much, so remember earlier I also said that range also means criteria range. Criteria range means range. So now I say criteria range 1, that is the first criteria. Where is the range? Where is the range of the first criteria? So our first criteria here is the east, right? Where is the range of the east? Where can you find east? That's what it means. So criteria means what? Where can you find the first criteria? So you must understand your first criteria. My first criteria is east. Now where can I find it? I can find it under my division. So I will go now and say my criteria range 1 is my division. Now I go to division, highlight all the divisions. Highlight all the divisions. That's my criteria range 1. Anyway, see range means a lot of things. Range. Then you put your comma. You put your comma. Right? Now, next argument. What's our next argument? Everyone.
Criteria 1.
So what is my criteria 1?
East is the
Thank
criteria
you.
1.
East. Exactly. The criteria is the first. This criteria 1 is what? Where can you find, in what range can you find the criteria 1? If I highlighted 2, what's that the exact criteria that you're looking for in that column? You say east, right? Open a quotes and say, oh, east, northwest, east. Then close the quotes. So we have done for the first criteria, right? They include comma. What is the next argument? Criteria range 2. Criteria range 2 means what? In which column can you find the second criteria? And we all know that our second criteria is technical support. So which column contains technical support? That is our what category, right? So you come to category, you highlight everything. Control Shift L, you highlight your category, then give comma. We give comma. Give comma. Now, next thing is what? Criteria 2. That is, from this criteria range 2 now, what is the criteria? What's the exact criteria that you're looking for? What are you looking for?
Technical support.
Then, so you open your quotes, see technical space support. Then close the quotes. So if you have a third argument, third criteria, that's how you continue like that. But for us, we only have 2 criteria. So we close the bracket here, we hit enter. Close the bracket here, and we hit enter. So the ball was points. So answer is 21,854. And I will take this once again. And put it again. Which is what we are looking for. The total expenses incurred, right? The total expenses incurred in the East on technical support, right? So we say equals to what? Some because we know what they are not, we have multiple conditions. we have multiple conditions, right? The first argument is asking for some range. Again, the first argument is asking for some range. That is, which range are you summing? That is, which column do you want to sum? That is, which column do you want to add? So we are adding our expense column. So I highlight the full expense, and I give a comma. I give a comma. So the next argument, right, is the criteria range 1. That is, what range contains the first criteria? In which range can you find the first criteria? So that is which column? So our first criteria is east. So we can go to what the column is division. Then we highlight the complete division. Complete division. That's the criteria range 1. Then put a comma there. At every point in time, let's always remember the comma. Now, the next argument is asking us what is the exact criteria that you're looking for in that range that you just specified. What we are looking for is east, right? I will put a quotes and put east there, then close quotes. East there, then close quotes. Right? Now we put a comma. Then it is now asking us for the second criteria, the criteria range 2. Now, our second criteria is technical support. Now, the criteria range is what? Which column contains the technical support? And we all agree that what technical support can be found under a category column. So you go to category, and you highlight that as well. Highlight that as well. Right? And put comma. You put comma. You look at it, it's asking us for the second criteria, criteria 2. Our criteria 2 is technical support. You put and type technical support. Technical support. You close the quotes. Open quotes and close quotes. Because this is our second criteria. We now have more than that. If we have a third criteria, we have said comma and go ahead and like that. But this is the third one. This is the last criteria. You just want to close the bracket here and you hit enter. And you hit enter. Now, finally, everyone, I want you to find how much I want to find the total expense amount that was spent on what? The total amount that was spent on advertisements. Okay, the total amount that was spent on advertising in the north, in the south. Total amount that was spent
Sorry, sir.
on adverts in the south. Okay, I'm listening. Right.
Sorry, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the total
Right.
amount and how much was spent is a different thing, or is it the same thing?
It's the same thing actually.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
How much was spent, total amount, same thing. Expense. So how much was spent on advertisements in the south? How much was spent on adverts in the south? Do that and type the answer in the chat. How much was spent on adverts in the south?
Is it just advert or there is a specific, is it west, east, or
In the south.
in the south? Okay.
How much was spent on adverts in the South? Okay, why? How much was spent on adverts in the South? How much was spent on adverts in the South? Hello, can you hear me? Oh, I didn't know. Thank you for dropping that message. I didn't know that nobody can hear me. Okay. The question is that what? How many? Did you hear the question at all? Did anyone hear the question?
I didn't hear the question, sir.
Imagine, and I've been talking since my life. Okay, no problem. So the question is that we want to know how many transactions happened, how many expenses they carried out in the Eastern Division. Can you tell me what kind of function do you think we can use that is, I want to know how many expenses were carried out in the Eastern Division? How many expenses were carried out in the Eastern Division? So if you look at the question very well, they are saying that how many times does East occur? Because for every time East occur, that's an expense already done. So without that means what we have to go into the table and check East 1, East 2, East 3, East 4, and so on towards all the columns. So to do this, because we want to know the number of occurrence, right? Then we use the count function. Well, just that in this case, we are not counting everything that we have on the division column. We only want to count the number of occurrences that East occur. So now it means what there's a condition to it, right? So therefore, we're going to use the count if function. We're going to use the count if function. So by saying equals to count if. Now, if you check now, our count if, just like a sum ifs to ask what, we have the count if and count ifs. That is, the first one is singular, the second one is plural, right? Count if everyone. Now, again, I said, unlike your sum if that has what, 3 arguments, count if only has 2 arguments. First one is range. Which column are you looking at? The second one is what? What are you looking for in that column? What's the criteria? That's the criteria. Can't you be saying what range, what column? And the second thing is what are you looking for in that column? Then you're going to count the number of times what you are looking for appears. So here we're saying what? We want to count what? The number of expenses, not total expenses now. The number of expenses. That is per invoice. How many invoices we have from is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? The number of expenses that happen in the East. So therefore, we say what? We go to division. That's the criteria, the range now. We highlight the division. We highlight our division. Right? Then you put comma. Who can tell me what will be my criteria? What will be my criteria? What will be my criteria? Everyone. I'm saying how many expenses happened in the East. So tell me, how many expenses happened in the East? So tell me what would be my criteria, everyone?
Maybe expense amount.
No.
Is
How many expenses happened in the East?
Okay,
Of
maybe
course, your criteria is going to the East. You want to see which one is coming from the East,
okay.
right? Which one is coming from the East? So when you pick the range now, we're now looking at what East. So it counts how many times East appears, right? So then I'll open a quote and type what East inside the quotes, then close the quotes. Because count does not need to what sum anything. Count is count. We're just counting the number of times it occurs. That's for count. So East, after the East now, you then close the bracket. By the time I hit enter now, it's going to show me how many times East occur in the table. Enter. Now it's telling me that what it East occur 14 times. That is, we have 14 expenses. We have 14 expenses that was done in the East. 14 expenses was carried out in the East. Okay, East is loading. Okay. Like I said, I've filtered down to only East now. If I count this thing now, it should be up to 14. Are you showing me? And so now 14 count is 14. I think that's count is 14. And again, if you count this one after the other, you see that once East occur 14 times. That is, these are the expenses that happen in the East. You have 14 expenses that happened in the East. So with this now, this is where we're going to be stopping for today. This is where we're going to be stopping for today. Now, your first assignment is for you to complete this table. The remaining 3 questions is to answer the remaining 3 questions. Now, you'll get a second assignment by tomorrow. Any question before we go?
So will they upload the assignment there in the profile, or we
You have
share?
the,
We
you have
just
the file already now. This is your file. This is what you should work on.
okay.
Yes. All right. But the assignment, the tomorrow assignment is going to be uploaded actually. For this one, just work on this file. But the assignment itself will be uploaded in the on the portal. So go there and you'll be notified once it has been uploaded.
Sorry, sir, I
So
don't
any
understand.
other
Like,
question?
for all that we were unable to upload the first assignment. So how
Don't
are we going
worry.
to do it?
You
Are we
will
going to
be able to
upload the
upload it
two
now.
assignments together?
So yes, for those who have not uploaded the first assignment, that means you are submitting 2 assignments. Don't worry, there's a section where you can now upload assignment 1 and assignment 2. You upload.
No problem.
So all right, so thank you very much, everyone. So the recording of this session will be made available to you, and you can also go over it as well to remind yourself of what we did in the class today. So till we meet on Friday, bye for now, everyone. See you
Thank you, sir.
on Friday. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
I swear to God. Though you didn't mean half of it, but me to get your few things. I'm so happy. I feel like you're going to paying you again.